The board will now come to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Schweitzer. Alderman Oldenburg. Alderman Cone. Alderman Narayan. Alderman Balmer. Alderwoman Velazquez. Alderwoman Sanier. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Browning. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Alderwoman Keys.
Here.
Alderwoman Tyus.
Present.
Alderwoman Boyd. Alderman Aldridge. President Green.
Present.
Alderman Oldenburg. I'm sorry. Alderman Cone. Alderman Balmer. Alderwoman Velazquez. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderwoman Boyd. 10 present. You have quorum.
A quorum being present, we will dispense with line items 3 and 4. Any introduction of honored guests? Any introduction of honored guests? Seeing none, Alderwoman from the 10th, you're recognized on the, oh, sorry,
I'm
Alderwoman.
sorry, my hand was raised.
Alderwoman from the 11th.
Yes, ma'am, my hand was raised for honored guests.
Alderwoman, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. My honored guests today are all of those people like myself who currently still are testing COVID positive. We need to be very mindful that this is a very, very serious illness. In 2021, my brother Mark Allen McElrath lost his life to COVID. And so I would urge all that can hear my voice today to please be vigilant in how you move about your day, about your community and workplace to protect not only yourselves, but those who work within the areas around you and within your own households. Over the last week and a half now, it's been really, really rough. And I'm very fortunate to seem to be getting close to coming out the other side of this okay. But I don't take for granted any measure of health that I have having had to deal with COVID. And so my honored guests are all of those who have suffered and or lost their lives to COVID. Thank you.
Any further introduction of honored guests? Seeing none, Alderwoman from the 10th, you are recognized on the approval of the minutes from Friday, September 27th, 2024.
Thank you, Madam President. Members of the board, I move that we approve the minutes from Friday, September 27th, 2024.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 3rd, that we approve the minutes from Friday, September 27th, 2024. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Report of city officials.
Report of city officials can be found in A, B, and C if the agenda has been placed in the Google Drive for your review. Dear members of the board, I have the pleasure to submit the following individual for appointment to the Westminster Lake Special Business District. The appointment of Brittany Robbins, who resides in the 9th Ward. I respectfully request your approval of the appointment. Sincerely, Tashara O. Jones, Mayor.
Alderman from the 9th, you are recognized on Mayor Jones' appointment to the Westminster Lake Special Business District.
Thank you. I would move that we accept the mayor's appointment of Ms. Brittany Robbins to the Westminster Lake Special Business District.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 9th, seconded by the Alderman from the 5th, that we approve Mayor Jones' appointment to the Westminster Lake Special Business District. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Does anyone wish to take any bills or resolutions off of any of our informal calendar? Anyone wish to take any bills or resolutions? Alderwoman from the 6th.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Can I please move Board Bill 60 from the informal calendar to the calendar for perfection?
The perfection consent calendar.
Yes.
Madam Clerk, please make note of that.
Thank you.
Alderwoman from the 11th.
Yes, I'd like to move, oh, wait a minute, I think I have an amendment to Board Bill 37. So this may not be the time for that yet. And then I'd like to move Board Bill 37 to the perfection calendar.
Madam Clerk, if you could please place Board Bill 37 on the regular perfection calendar. Alderwoman from the 12th.
Madam President, members of the board, I'm sorry, I didn't hear which bill the Alderwoman from the 6th, I'm sorry, was removing from the informal calendar.
68.
All right, thank you.
Any further bills to be taken off the informal calendar? Seeing none. First reading of board bills.
Board Bill 107, sponsored by Alderwoman Velazquez, an ordinance amending Section 11.42.040 of the Chapter 11.42 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis to allow cottage foods to be sold outside the individual's home. Board Bill 108, sponsored by Alderman Browning, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Aldermen Enforcement, authorizing the City of St. Louis, Missouri to issue its taxable industrial development revenue bonds in the principal amount of not to exceed $42 million for the purpose of providing funds to pay the cost of constructing an industrial development project in the city, approving a plan for such project, authorizing and directing the mayor and the comptroller to execute certain documents related thereto, authorizing and directing the taking of other actions and approval of execution of other documents or as are necessary or desirable to carry out and comply with the intent hereof. Board Bill 109, sponsored by Alderman Aldridge, an ordinance authorizing the honorary street name Tuskegee Airman Way pursuant to ordinance number 68937, which shall begin at the intersection of Chestnut Street and North 13th Street, run west on Chestnut Street to the intersection of Chestnut and North 14th Street. Board Bill 110, sponsored by Alderman Aldridge, an ordinance to repeal certain sections of Chapter 15, Section 11.20 of Chapter pertaining to acts of public decency, offenses against public peace, and other miscellaneous offenses. That's the extent of first reading of board bills.
Reference to committee of board bills.
To the Red Tape Committee, Special Committee on Reducing Red Tape, Board Bill 107. To HUD's, Board Bill 108. To Public Utilities, Board Bill 109. And to Public Safety, Board Bill 110.
Second reading and report of standing committees.
The following board bill was reported out of Special Committee on Reducing Red Tape. Board Bill 103, sponsored by Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, Alderwoman Velazquez, and Alderwoman Sanye. An ordinance repealing Chapter 8.22 of the Revised Code of the City to eliminate certain regulations for barbershops. The following board bills were reported out of Public Safety with the due pass recommendation. Board Bill 105, sponsored by Alderwoman Boyd, Alderman Oldenburg, Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, Alderwoman Velazquez, Alderwoman Sanye, and Alderman Aldridge. An ordinance updating ordinance number 71820, which pertains to the illegal discharge of firearms to change the term weapon to firearms, change criminal negligence to recklessly, and updating exceptions to the prohibition and containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 106, sponsored by Alderman Oldenburg, Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, and Alderman Narayan. This board bill proposes an ordinance recommended by the Board of Aldermen Enforcement, authorizing the police commissioner on behalf of the City of St. Louis to enter into and execute a grant agreement with the Missouri Department of Public Safety's Project Safe Neighborhoods 2021 program to fund training of officers and gang task force, as well as supplies for the unit and equipment containing the severability clause and emergency clause. And Alderman Narayan was a co-sponsor to Board Bill 108. That's the extent of second reading report of standing committees.
Please.
We have none.
We can dispense with line item 15, board bills for perfection consent.
Board Bill 99, sponsored by Alderman Cone, an ordinance recommended and approved by the Airport Commission, the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, the Board of Public Service, authorizing and directing the Director of Airports and the Comptroller of the City of St. Louis to enter into and execute the purchase and sale agreement substantially in the form as set forth Exhibit A, attached hereto and incorporated herein, between the City and St. Louis County, authorizing the sale of certain St. Louis Lambert International Airport's property parcels located within the city of Kinloch, Missouri, and St. Louis County for $40,000 containing a severability clause. Board Bill 100, sponsored by Alderman Cone, an ordinance recommended and approved by the Airport Commission and the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, authorizing the transfer of $1 million from the Airport Development Fund to the Airport Service Incentive Program at St. Louis Lambert International Airport for fiscal year 2025 through 2027, providing for supplemental transfers containing a severability clause. Board Bill 101, sponsored by Alderman Cone, an ordinance recommended and approved by the Airport Commission, the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, providing for financial incentives for new airlines and air services for St. Louis Lambert International Airport, containing a severability clause. Board Bill 84, sponsored by Alderwoman Keys, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and the comptroller of the City of St. Louis to execute a temporary construction easement with certain terms and conditions with Great Rivers Greenway District to allow its equipment, workers, and materials to install on, over, across, and under the land depicted in Exhibit B within Exhibit 1 for the purpose of constructing and installing a trail containing a severability clause and an emergency clause. Board Bill 98, sponsored by Alderwoman Boyd, Alderman Balmer, Alderwoman Schweitzer, and Alderwoman Sanye. An ordinance approving an award of $263,800 for the analysis of public health and health equity to St. Louis Integrated Health Network, authorizing the execution of a grant agreement between the City of St. Louis through its Department of Health and St. Louis Integrated Health Network for the purpose of conducting an analysis of the healthcare safety net network for providers and member organizations, authorizing certain actions of city officials containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 68, sponsored by Alderwoman Velazquez, pursuant to ordinance number 70333, as amended by ordinance number 71394, an ordinance directing the Director of Streets to install speed humps to calm the flow of traffic on the 2000 block of 39th Street, 2100 block of 39th Street, 3800 block of Detani Street, 3900 block of Connecticut Avenue, 4000 block of Connecticut Avenue, 3500 block of Giles Avenue, 3100 block of Gurney Avenue, 3600 block of Gustine Avenue, 3700 block of Gustine Avenue, the 4000 block of Hartford Street, 4000 block of Merrimack Street, 3100 block of Portis Avenue, and the 4000 block of Wyoming. That's the extent of board bills for a perfection consent calendar.
Alderwoman from the 10th, you're recognized on the motion to adopt the board bills for the perfection consent calendar.
Thank you, Madam President. Members of the board, I move that we adopt the board bills for perfection consent calendar.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 3rd, that we adopt board bills for the perfection consent calendar. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Board bills for perfection.
Board Bill 37, sponsored by Alderwoman Keys, an ordinance approving a petition of owners of certain real property to establish a community improvement district, establishing the Grand Center East Community Improvement District, finding a public purpose for the establishment of the Grand Center East Community Improvement District, containing a severability clause.
Alderwoman from the 11th, you are recognized on the perfection of Board Bill 37.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Chair, I believe we have an amendment to that because we're changing a board member.
Correct, but first I need you to make a motion to perfect Board Bill 37, and then we can take up the amendment.
Thank you so much. I'd like to move that we perfect Board Bill 37.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 11th, seconded by the Alderman from the 2nd, that we perfect Board Bill number 37. Alderwoman, you may proceed.
So this board bill is to add a board member, and I'm very thankful to the Grand Center Inc. Community for recognizing that they need to have diversity on their board to make it more well-rounded. And so they have selected Christy Jackson, who is the executive director of the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship for Harris Stowe University. So with that, I move that that she be accepted
Would you
onto that board.
make a motion to adopt amendment number 1 to Board Bill number 37?
Thank you. I move that we accept. I'm sorry, I'm struggling this morning. Under Board Bill 37.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 11th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 10th, that we adopt amendment number 1 to Board Bill number 37. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman, you may proceed with Board Bill 37 as amended.
Thank you. As stated, this will definitely add diversity to the board to make them more well-rounded. And I applaud their efforts in this endeavor. So with that, I move to perfect Board Bill 37.
As amended. It's been moved by the
amended,
Alderwoman
thank
from the
you.
11th, seconded by the Alderman from the 2nd, that we perfect Board Bill number 37 as amended. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Report of engrossment.
Board Bill 65, 67, 78, 81 as amended, 94, and 97.
Third reading and final passage of Board Bills consent.
Board Bill 65, 67, 78, 81 as amended, 94, and Board Bill 97.
Alderwoman from the 10th, you are recognized on the motion to adopt the third reading and final passage of Board Bills on the consent calendar.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we adopt the third reading and final passage of Board Bills consent calendar.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 4th, that we adopt the third reading and final passage of Board Bills on the consent calendar. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Schweitzer. Alderman Oldenburg. Alderman Cone. Alderman Narayan. Alderman Balmer. Alderwoman Velazquez. Alderwoman Sanye. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Browning. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Alderwoman Keys.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tyus.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd. Alderman Aldridge. President Green.
Aye.
Alderman Balmer. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderwoman Boyd. 13 aye votes.
By your vote, you sustain the motion from the Alderwoman from the 10th to third read and finally pass the aforementioned bills. Third reading and final passage of Board Bills.
Board Bill 65, 67, 78, 81 as amended.
Madam Clerk, sorry, I said third reading and final passage.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have none.
We can dispense with line item 18B, reported the finally passed and signed by the President.
Board Bill 65, 67, 78, 81 as amended, 94, and 97.
All other business being suspended, the President shall in open session affix her signature hereto to the end that these may become law. First reading of resolutions in reference to committees.
We have none.
Second reading resolutions, committee reports and adoption.
Report from the Personnel Committee.
I would move that the meeting of the full Board of Aldermen be closed to the public under provisions of 610.0213 and Section 610.022 of the Missouri Revised Statutes in order to permit the members of the board to discuss matters related to the hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting of employees of the Board of Aldermen. It's been seconded by the alderman from the 9th. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
Alderwoman Schweitzer. Alderman Oldenburg. Alderman Cone. Alderman Narayan. Alderman Valmer. Alderwoman Velazquez. Alderwoman Sanye. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Browning. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Alderwoman Keys.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tyus.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd. Alderman Aldridge. President Green.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd. 14 aye votes.
By your vote, you have sustained the motion. If all guests, staff, and members in the gallery please exit the chambers at this time. STLTV, please place the full board in closed session. Only members of the board and Clerk Rogers are allowed to stay. Alderwoman from the 10th, you're recognized on the motion to adopt the courtesy resolution consent calendar.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we adopt the courtesy resolution consent calendar.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 3rd, that we adopt the courtesy resolution consent calendar. Is there any discussion? Alderman from the 4th.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to draw particular attention to resolution number 156 today. That's on the courtesy resolution calendar. This is for Officer David Lee, who fell in the line of duty. Through his actions, he left no doubt about his love for his community and his fellow citizens. He served on SLMPD for 18 years. From everything that I have heard about him, he is exactly the kind of officer that we want serving in our community. I want to make sure that we send our most sincere condolences to his family. And we have just about everyone on this bill, but at this point, I would move that we make Resolution 156 in bank.
It's been moved by the Alderman.
Objections.
There's been an objection to making Resolution 156 in bank. So at this time, if there are other members of the board who would like to add themselves to the resolution, please let the...
Would be me. Point of order. I've had my hand up to add my name to that resolution for a while now and just didn't get any notice. My hand was up before, as soon as we came back out of a closed session. And that was to speak to this resolution, to ask that it be taken off of the consent so that we could speak to it, and also to add my name.
Madam Clerk, if you could please add the Alderwoman from the 12th to Resolution 156.
So noted.
Alderwoman from
And
the 8th.
because we usually, excuse me, I'm not finished. We're also, well, I'm sorry, I don't have the floor.
Apologies, Alderwoman from the 12th. I thought your hand was still up from closed session, but I will recognize you now. You are recognized, Alderwoman from the 12th.
Well, because I'm sorry, Madam President, members of the board, I wanted to add my name, but I also wanted to ask if we could take that off of the courtesy resolutions, which I often do when it's something we need to speak to. And I thought this officer should be able to be addressed by members of the board. And so for that reason, I would want it to be taken off the courtesy resolution and placed on the regular.
We are discussing
We already
it right.
did.
Alderwoman from the 12th, we are discussing the resolution right now as part of our discussion related to courtesy resolution consent calendar. So if you would like to
Understand.
speak on the resolution, you may.
No, what I wanted to do was take it off. The Alderman from the 4th was already speaking to it. That'll be fine. And I don't know why I'm up here twice, so something is going on. Maybe why you didn't see it, because I actually see myself twice.
Okay. Alderwoman from the 8th. Alderwoman from the 8th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I just would like to add the Alderwoman from the 8th to this and thank the sponsor for putting this thoughtful piece together.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 3rd, that we adopt the courtesy resolution consent calendar. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Miscellaneous and unfinished business.
We have none.
Announcements.
Tuesday, October 8th, 2024, Committee of the Whole will have a meeting in the Kennedy Room at 3 p.m. Wednesday, October 9th, 2024, the Special Committee on Special Taxing District will have a meeting in the Kennedy Room at 12 p.m. Public Infrastructure and Utilities will have a meeting in the Kennedy Room at 3:30 p.m. Thursday, October 10th, Personnel will have a meeting via webinar at 11 a.m. Friday, October 11th, 2024, full board meeting in Chambers at 10 a.m. That's the extent of the announcements.
Any further announcements? Alderman from the 14th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I would like to make an announcement that tomorrow, myself and the board Committeewoman Lucinda Frazier Boswell will be having a town hall at 10 a.m. at Herbert Hoover Boys and Girls Club to talk about the up-and-coming things that would be on the ballot. And I also want to wish a very special happy birthday to a former alderperson who used to serve down at the board, which I now have the honor of representing part of that ward. I appreciate his ability to work with me as I've kind of preceded him. Sometimes, when you run against somebody, it kind of gets a little ugly, but he has continued to support me in the process to make sure it's about the community. So I want to wish former alderman of the 3rd Ward, Brandon Bosley, a happy birthday. I would ask everybody to also wish him a happy birthday today. So happy birthday, Brandon.
Birthday, Brandon.
Happy birthday.
Any further announcements? Alderwoman from the 10th.
Thank you. I'd like to add to the calendar a HUD's meeting on Tuesday, October the 8th at 11 a.m. to hear Board Bill 108.
Any further announcements? Alderwoman from the 1st.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I want to let everyone know that the alderman from the 3rd and I will be having a town hall meeting tomorrow at noon at the Crondelet Library. Hope to see you all there. We will have Dr. Mahdi with the Health Department. We'll be going over boards and commissions and openings available to serve the city of St. Louis. And Alderman Cohn and I will also be giving updates. On a personal note, I will say that my brother and his wife had their 4th baby this week. So welcome David Lewis to St. Louis.
Alderman from the 2nd.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I certainly want to thank the Alderman from the 4th and this body for adopting the courtesy resolution 156 of Officer David Lee. I do also want to note that tomorrow, October 5th, Saturday, the arrangements are the visitation is from 10 a.m. to 1 with the funeral to follow at 1 o'clock, and that is at the Friendly Temple Missionary Baptist Church at 5515 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. So hopefully everyone is welcomed and encouraged. I know a handful of aldermen are trying to get there right around 10 or a little after to present the resolution to the wife and the family of Officer Lee. So hope you can all join us. Thank you.
Alderwoman from the 8th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I'd just like to announce that there will be a Budget and Public Employees Committee hearing at our regular scheduled time on Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Alderman from the 9th.
Thank you. Just want to announce that this weekend, no, it's a busy weekend, but we have Grove Fest going on in Forest Park Southeast along the Manchester Strip there. It'll be going between 2 and 11 p.m. We're going to have live artists, lots of booths, really just a street-long block party. So please come by. It's always a good time, and support your local economy. Thank you.
Any further announcements? Alderwoman from the 6th.
2 announcements, one for this week and actually 3. We are going to have a special committee on red tape hearing on Monday, October 14th. So we will schedule that. And then lots of fun things happening in the ward this weekend. The biggest one is Oktoberfest from Compton Hill and Compton Heights. So if you want to, I don't know, I think they'll probably have the sawing of a log, but if you want to see lederhosen and people saw logs, you can come to Compton Heights this weekend at the Magic Chef Mansion. And then just wanted to announce a town hall with my fellow alder lady from the 10th. It'll be on October 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Dogwood Theater, or the Dogwood, and it'll be focused on domestic violence awareness. Thank you.
Any further announcements? Alderman from the 5th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. This weekend actually is going on as we're here is the Best of Missouri Market at Missouri Botanical Garden. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Be there. Thank you.
Any further announcements? Alderwoman from the 6th.
I forgot one. I can't do quite Alderman Vollmer's voice, but I also wanted to say the Shaw Art Fair is this weekend, starting tomorrow and Sunday, so please stop by.
Any further announcements? Any further announcements? Seeing none, Alderwoman from the 10th, you are recognized on the motion to excuse.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we excuse the Alderwoman from the 13th for necessary absence.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 7th, that we excuse the Alderwoman from the 13th for necessary absence. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman from the 10th, you are recognized on the motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we adjourn until Friday, October 11, 2024, in the Board of Aldermen Chambers.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 7th, that we adjourn until Friday, October 11, 2024, in the Board of Aldermen Chambers. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Motion carries. We are adjourned.